Luffy, it's good to see you, buddy.
I think most people would agree that most live-action adaptations of pre-existing animated works are pretty shitty, but nowhere in the animation landscape does this ring truer than with anime adaptations. Whether it be Netflix's live-action Death Note movie or the Ghost in the Shell remake with famous Asian actress Scarlett Johansson, Hollywood just can't seem to find a way to make it work. If you want to watch a video that talks about this subject at length, I'd recommend this video by Cosmonaut Variety Hour. It's pretty good, you should watch it. However, a few years ago, Netflix announced a live-action adaptation of One Piece, and at the time, I was pretty skeptical. Keep in mind, I don't know dick about One Piece. I've never seen it or read it a day in my life. But I have seen most of Cowboy Bebop, and Netflix's adaptation of it was less than good.
Sounds to me like blackmail.
You're damn right it is, because, Jet, you are black and you are male.
Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
And now for the same company to come back and do a remake of not only one of the longest running shonen series of all time, but one of the most influential. Like, seriously, how the fuck are you gonna make this look good in live action? Let's just say I was apprehensive. But hey, they got the creator of the series on as a producer, so maybe they know something that I don't. And now that it's finally here, I have to be the one to break the news that this show's kinda good. Before I get into the good stuff, I'm going to start with my negatives since there are less of them on this list. My first major con with this series is that this show has a tendency to get in its own way sometimes. I think that in certain cases, the strive for pretty much complete faithfulness can make the show feel a bit awkward at times. For example, the actor for Luffy clearly likes his character and wants to portray him as accurately as possible, and I respect that. But I think that in doing so, it can cause his delivery to be a bit weird at times.
Maybe I can't beat you, but I can destroy everything you've built.
That being said, the cast was clearly having fun with this, so it bothered me less as it went on. This show also had, while not bad pacing of its own, scenes that feel very rushed and out of nowhere. Now, I know that the original has a lot of stuff in it that they either had to condense down or cut out in its entirety. I get that. But that can sometimes lead to certain scenes fleshing out certain characters to also feel awkward and confusing. The flashback with Garp and Luffy is a very good example of a scene I was absolutely bewildered by. But while I think that the pacing of individual scenes can be a bit off, the overall pacing of the season was quite good. While I'm not a die-hard, neckbeard weeb, I occasionally dabble in anime, usually if I like the premise of it. But whenever I watch a shonen anime, the thing I hate the most is whenever a single fight scene takes 12 fucking episodes to complete. But since the show is intended to bring the series to newer audiences, they managed to move the show along in a way that doesn't drag. I don't need 20 minutes to know what move Zoro is going to use. Just show me the fucking thing and move on, alright? Speaking of fight scenes, I was pleasantly surprised with how well the fights were handled. Now, there was no way that this show was going to match the scale and spectacle that the original had. It was never going to be done in a way that would look good anyway. But the fight scenes in this show were energetic and choreographed extremely well considering what it had to live up to. Even the Luffy fights looked decent enough, which I was not expecting. But without a doubt, the best part about this show was the performances. Everyone in this show was having so much fun. The love and passion for One Piece is infectious across the cast, and it absolutely shows in their performances. My personal favorite is the guy playing Helmeppo. He absolutely killed it as his character. Ladies, get you a man that can open his mouth this fucking wide. How does he do that? In my opinion, this show had one job: to introduce this series to people who wouldn't otherwise want to watch the anime, and maybe even get people to watch the original. And I'm pretty sure they succeeded. As of writing this video, I actually started watching One Piece, and sure, it may be a little long, seriously, what the fuck, but I'm kinda liking it so far. And now I get to see what in the story they changed for this new adaptation. I actually prefer that in the remake Zoro warms up to Luffy and gradually wants to be part of his crew, as opposed to in the anime where he just kind of accepts it and doesn't protest it that much. And that isn't to say that the anime is poorly written by any means, it's quite good so far. I'm just glad we're living in a day and age where we're not only getting good video game adaptations, but now we finally have a good animated adaptation. I hope studios don't take the wrong lesson away from this and start adapting anime left and right without giving a shit, because if this remake proved anything, it's that the people making these shows need to have nothing but love and passion for the originals. And maybe the original creator worked closely with them, it wouldn't hurt. Anyways, this show gets a good old 8 out of 10, can't wait for season 2.
Come aboard!